It was just like Lee Pu's mother opened the door for Lee Pu. Lee Pu was home. Pakistan's simple open-air manufacturing factory was able to make a flatbed semi-trailer compartment by hand. The two thick and long eye-shaped steel bars in front are the main food of the trailer, since the masters have already made them in advance. In order to facilitate the subsequent splicing and installation, we need to use a crane to place the two main beams in order. After that, this process is relatively simple. We have quickly installed it. In order to increase the width and overall firmness of the trailer, the masters also need to install these small eye-shaped steel bars in place. The materials used for the entire beam are still quite conscientious. We have no requirements for the trailer's own weight during the installation process, so they only need to install them all in an interlaced manner. The cross beams on both sides of the trailer are directly installed by large-sized channel steels and then welded and fixed by electric welding. The traction pin bottom plate at the head of the trailer is directly installed by thickened steel plates. When the masters have installed all the accessories of the beam next, after the masters have welded and fixed it. The two sides of the trailer beam need to be reinforced with channel steel. Because the length of the entire trailer is more than 10 meters, two pieces of channel steel need to be spliced together. Before installation, they need to use electric welding to weld and fix it so that the masters can install it in place to keep the width of the trailer consistent. The masters will first use the lifting chain to adjust it and then use electric welding to fix it. The installation process on both sides is basically the same. After measuring the position to ensure that there is no problem, they can then use electric welding to fix it. The production process of the front blue plate of the trailer is relatively simple. First, they install two columns on both sides and then splice the bent steel plate. After using electric welding to install and fix it, the channel steel used for reinforcement can be installed in place. The support legs on both sides of the front of the trailer. After the masters ensure that there is no problem with the measured position, they can then use electric welding to fix it. They also use steel plates to rub them by hand during installation. They first use tools to measure the position to prevent the position of the subsequent trailer axle from deviating, causing the trailer to deviate and affect normal use. After they weld and fix all the suspension brackets, the next work is to move the car body floor to the trailer. For these steels, the installation process is still quite fast. The masters only need to use electric welding to weld and fix them, such as the baffle at the rear of the trailer. Since they have been made in advance, they only need to install them according to the standard position. Not to mention that the rope tightening agents that need to be installed on both sides of the trailer are all hand-rubbed by them in advance. The masters only need to fix them to the trailer according to the exclusive position. As for the installation process of the trailer rear axle suspension, the overall structure is very simple. First, they only need to install the fixed kingpin in the middle, and then use the lifting chain to assist. The rear axle suspension steel plate is installed in place. After a series of collective operations, the rear axle suspension is finally assembled. Next, you can enter the painting process. This process is still quite time-consuming. After all, the size of this trailer is very large. After 3 days of spraying and decorating, the main body of the trailer was finally completed. Now all the masters have to do is install the rear axle in place. Judging from the shape of the rear axle, it is also a rear axle made by hand. Although the equipment they use is the lowest configuration, the overall structure of this trailer, it is basically made by hand. After the masters spent half a month working hard to make it, the flatbed trailer can finally be shipped out of the factory. What do you think of their production process? If there are 10 points, how many points are you willing to give?